Hey everyone, I wanted to go over the new and exciting news that we got for Monster Hunter Rise on both the Nintendo Switch and of course very soon coming to the PC as well. And that's the fact that just revealed on the most recent Nintendo Direct for September 23rd, 2021, we got our first glance at Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak. This is going to be the biggest expansion into Monster Hunter Rise that we've been expecting. This is pretty much going to be the G rank update we've pretty much been waiting for, that we know that they have been working for a couple of years now. This is one of those things that I'm completely out of left field, came out of nowhere for me. It's one of those things that we've kind of already discussed. We know it's in the work, not necessarily a huge surprise. I just think I'm a little bit taken back at the fact that we got to see it so early. So first and foremost, let's contextualize this just a little bit before we get into any sort of speculative or any actual breakdown of what we actually saw. The fact of the matter is, we know that Capcom will be hosting a presentation in Tokyo Game Show just on September 30th, I believe. So for us, it's going to be September 29th and very late in the night. So we've known for a couple of weeks now, Capcom made this very public, this isn't secret, that they're going to be hosting this presentation in Tokyo Game Show. And we know from a couple of other people have basically mentioned that we are going to be seeing the reveal of the PC version as well as the reveal for the next essential collaboration that we're going to be expecting. This isn't necessarily too much of a surprise. A lot of the ongoing speculation at the time was that they were pretty much going to showcase the PC version of basic Monster Hunter Rise. But now this got me second questioning that information, because we now know that Sunbreak is going to be launching summer of 2022. So it would be interesting if Capcom actually does decide to release not just the base version onto PC pretty much early next year, and then a couple of months later, let's say 4 to 5 months later, drop the expansion, not just for PC, but Nintendo Switch as well. Do keep in mind that the trailer showcases Nintendo Switch and Steam in the trailer themselves. So it's very much one of those things where Sunbreak is coming to PC. We know that. They're also being very transparent about it. So it's one of those do they drop the base version of Monster Hunter Rise onto PC before then? Or do they just completely wait until there's the G rank update, the complete expansion, and then Nintendo Switch and Steam gets their big drop? It's just pretty much there to say. We don't necessarily know, but do keep in mind that on the official Monster Hunter Rise Twitter account, they did put up a very clear splash image with the logo Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak, and they pretty much tag it as Monster Hunter Rise coming to Nintendo Switch and Steam. So it's one of those they're not hiding it anymore. We do know there's a PC version coming to Sunrise from Sunrise into PC, but we don't necessarily know if the base version is going to be coming to PC very first. We don't necessarily know that just yet. With all that out of the way, this is just completely out of nowhere for me, because I did speak about, again, the PC version coming. We kind of known this, but the fact that they're just showcasing Sunbreak now as a name thing, we kind of seen already a monster there. We've kind of seen a brand new area. Obviously, this is something that I don't necessarily want to get into too much detail over, because I don't necessarily want to get copyright striked again, but we do have some details about Sunbreak that we didn't even know the name of at the time, so I don't want to get into any of that. But it is interesting that they're showcasing it now out of all places, especially on the Nintendo Direct. I certainly would not have expected that. But when it comes to what we actually see in the trailer, it's very much a Rathalos very early on. That's actually what triggered me, when I saw it, oh, that's a Rathalos. Oh, this is Monster Hunter. I was like, oh, okay. And then, of course, we get to see that dragon. The gates open. He starts flying up, climbing up a wall. I don't necessarily think we actually know what that monster actually is. Clearly, he's unnamed at this point in time. If there is a name out there, I don't necessarily know it. So it's very much one of those things. He's hiding in a decrepit castle. And that area actually reminds me, because of the moonlight color and all of that, it does remind me a little bit of the Springs area that they added a couple of patches ago. Remember that there's those 3 Apex battles that you're going to be able to do if you haven't necessarily gotten that far. There's a quest you're going to be able to do battling 3 Apexes, I believe it's Sinogre, Rathalos, and something else. I forget the name of it, maybe Mitsuzune. And it's one of those where they showcase that brand new area that it wasn't necessarily available anywhere else in the game prior. It's an arena. And pretty much this reminds me a little bit. It has that same aesthetic, not the coral area, decrepit stuff. This is pretty much a brand new area, of course, but it does seem to have that same aesthetic. Very creepy, very decapitated, just run down, just completely kind of empty area for clearly a monster to be able to make it and nest it and make it their home. So I do think that this is one of those connections very much to Rise that definitely stands out for sure. Also, they did show a couple of little creatures walking outside of the area, so I did find that interesting as well. But again, we don't necessarily have names or anything like that. It's just one of those things where, like, we'll just have to wait and see until Capcom decides to officially, obviously, go ahead and name this information. Maybe it's something available on their website. If there is, I'm going to make sure to make a video about it and cover that separately. But I do find this fascinating that they went ahead and showcased this on a Nintendo Direct, and they didn't necessarily wait for Tokyo Game Show as we were expecting. But other than that, I don't want to sit here and speculate and pretty much go over a lot of things that we don't necessarily know. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of time to be able to go over that eventually. So with all that said, thank you so much for watching. If you're brand new to my channel, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Hit the bell to receive notifications when the videos go up. And as always, thank you so much for watching. See ya.